friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandron.
What up, what up? It is Deja. How y'all doing?
Oh, welcome. If you've never been here before, we do a cross section of pop culture in real life. Today, we're back with a pop culture roundup. Things that have been going on out there, out in the world.
Girl, listen. Now
So,
there are obviously a whole lot of negative, horrible things that are happening, and in an effort to keep our show light, we're gonna talk about the bullshit as opposed to
hi.
all the serious topics.
Sure. Let's get into it.
Um, Top of the bullshit list, news updates. Duke has ended their full ride scholarship for all Black students in need
Heard about this.
as a follow-up or I'm losing the word here, but as a movement after they got rid of affirmative action and all the other things that benefit students of color, this is the next major university to do that. And what I read was that a lot of um not PWI per se, because I don't know that Duke is a PWI predominantly, but they're in the category. A lot of prestigious institutions are basically getting away with all of their
Yeah.
affirmative action programs or things that help Black students specifically, which I think is really fucked up.
Well, some news from California in that same regard. This is not on the outline. California is either looking to or has officially done away with legacy admissions. Let's have a conversation about that
Well,
because, as what Michelle Obama said, the affirmative action of legacy admissions, because that's what that was. Like a lot of people was getting into schools they was not qualified to be at
hello.
regarding
And then
because of
having the
legacy admission.
audacity to say to students of color, whether you were Black or any other nationality of color,
Yeah.
oh, you took such and such a spot as though they didn't have the fucking grades to get there. Because trust and believe, it is 10 times, probably 100 times harder for a student of color to get into these prestigious institutions than it is for white students.
Not to mention, it's like a lot of people, especially, because affirmative action is not just about race. Affirmative action is also about socioeconomic status, which people can
Yes.
also, you know, I think that is still, okay, from what I've heard, that is still on the table as far as a factor. So a lot of times where race has gone down in a lot of metrics, there's been more diversity in terms of socioeconomic status because you can still write about that. You can't talk about
Hmm.
being black, but you can talk about being poor, or you can't talk about being this, but you can talk, you can talk about being poor. Um,
Hmm.
so that's a
And
form
from
of
the
diversity as well. So it's like, but in addition to with being poor, not saying that, you know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm saying. But like
Mhm.
in addition to that, it's like you got to fight so many different forces to be poor and to get to this stage. Like the poor kids are tired. The white ones, the black ones, they're all tired by the time they get to Yale, okay? They're exhausted. They are worn out. All of them.
Hello. And it's like
So,
the really unfortunate piece is the I was looking at forgot the name of her TikTok, but she did like a piece. She's a reporter, and she was talking about how a lot of the affirmative action students who got in, like the DEI of it all, it benefited Asian students and white women more than it benefited us. But the picture is
absolutely.
painted that it benefits solely Black students, and it's not true.
Absolutely. I remember I did a internship when I was in law school and it was geared towards minority students. It was I forget what the acronym was. Like I know what it was, but I don't forget what it means. Anyways, it was for like those types of students, right? For the
Hmm.
government. And the girl that I interned with in the office was she had like a sliver of Native American in her DNA. Like it was like a sliver, like great, like several greats back. But she was white and she was white presenting and white facing. And like she was a white girl, culturally
Raised
white,
white,
raised,
exactly.
raised white,
All
everything.
that. That's
And
crazy.
it's like, girl, it's like Elizabeth Warren. Like they will find that sliver of something to give them an in, and then they get in. You know what I mean? So it's not even always just like the black people getting in. it's everybody. So, anyways, all that to say, legacy admissions is no longer a thing in California, and so let's see what happens now. Because y'all, now that those affirmative action spaces are freed up, let's see what actually happens in meritocracy, friends.
I think that they need to, across the board, if you're gonna wipe away all the things that benefit students of color, then you need to equally do the same thing that benefits privilege.
Yeah. I
Everybody
have heard an
going for the
argument.
same.
I have heard an argument from people of color that I think is interesting. Um, they're basically like, okay, we're second generation, like our kids are second generation, and now they're actually going to benefit from legacy admissions, and we can't even pass our legacy on to them now. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's an interesting conversation to be had, I think, where now
yeah,
legacy isn't automatically white. I think that's an
yeah.
interesting conversation. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Where people have benefited now, so they're going to be able to pass their legacy on, but now they don't even they maybe won't even have that option. So I
But
think
to
there's like a lot
me,
of yeah,
for me, if you're gonna take away everybody's advantages and then basically level the playing field, then let's do that.
yeah. So
Let's
we'll
I
see
do
what
that. I'm
happens.
gonna need a cough drop. Whew.
We will see what happens. Let's move on. Rudy Giuliani has been disbarred where? Because he was already disbarred like a couple of times. DC,
So
New York?
recently I was listening to Native Land Pod and I trust the
Okay.
information that I get from them. And they said that he was disbarred. I want to say it was in the state of New York.
Okay.
So
He had already been disbarred in DC, and honestly, I don't want to say, well, I don't think the bar is going to save us, but it's like a lot of these Trump attorneys are getting disbarred because they're bringing frivolous claims, and like there is a code of ethics that is binding as a practicing attorney, and they are going against it.
yeah,
So, a lot of these people are going to find other avenues to be grifters. They will find, um, they'll find commentator jobs. They'll be on Fox News. They'll be in all the places. They'll write articles for the Wall Street Journal opinion pages. They will find tons of places to be relevant, but the bar said not here, not
yeah,
in the courthouse, not in the courthouse. So,
yeah. But the unfortunate piece is that they're still going to be able to make a decent income
mhm,
despite all the bullshit that they have brought our way. Basically,
for
like they
sure.
rode in on Trump's train and
Yeah,
are still able
possibly more,
to make a living. Yeah, exactly. So
possibly
like
more money.
it's really unfortunate.
All right,
Um,
let's
Other
do the Eric.
news, headline news shit is this damn Eric Adams. He has got to be the dumbest criminal in existence
God damn, he dumb.
because
Especially to be a former cop. Like, are you stupid?
hello, hello, that
Like, are
part.
you actually dumb?
Like why would you send any sort of illegalities through text messages and say because you deleted this wiped off your phone? We are in 2024. The level of technology that we have today, why wouldn't you concede, okay, it's possible for them to be able to track what was said, even through encrypted text messaging?
So, for a bit of background, for those not following the story, Eric Adams is mayor of New York. He has been indicted for all manner of not registering. I don't, was it not registering as a foreign agent? Anyways, for being a foreign agent, essentially. Receiving a bunch of bribes from the Turkish government, and then the bribes weren't even good. It was just like, girl, really? It was like upgraded plane tickets. And it's like, you gonna serve time for that, sir.
Literally.
Was it worth
And
it to
he was
go
like
to
the
have a flatbed to lay down?
one of the first African American mayors of the city of New York, and you were a part of one of the largest criminal indictments there is. Like, come on, my man. My thing is like, what makes you think that you would get off any differently? Like, you don't have the right skin color, my guy. It's just dumb. It's very
A
dumb.
fool. A complete fool. A complete fool. All right, let's move on. Cardi and Offset are back on the outs. These
Girl.
people.
I
I don't think
mean,
about it anymore. Apparently, they broke up while she was pregnant and she was fooling with somebody else and basically went on Instagram Live and was like, girl, yeah.
told the whole
And
world.
he accused her in the comments and was like, "Oh, you was doing X, Y, and Z while you was pregnant my baby," and she was like, went on Twitter then and was like, "And did," and
And
it's like, "Girl,
did.
will y'all please leave us out of it? You people are going to be back together next week. Can y'all leave us out of it? Like, you were supposed to
My
have been
hope is
divorced from him,
that
and you got two more babies from when you divorced him the first time, or you filed divorce for the first time. Girl, please, can you leave us out of it until the divorce is final, ma'am? We don't want to hear no
I
more."
think no, you cannot get in my lap. Child, I'm telling you, at this point, it's just kind of like get get yourself and your children together away from the internet because at the end of the day, culture and the eldest boy are going to be able to, if not already, see all this shit playing out on their iPads. And that's not going to be good for
It's
your babies.
it's too much. Let's move on. Jaguar Wright is on Piers Morgan. Who gave her a real audience? I don't. That's what I'm
That's
trying to
what I don't
figure out.
understand. I
Why
was
did
watching
that
the
happen?
clips of that shit on TikTok and was like, who, why? And not only that, who and why, right? Uh, why would you, as Jaguar Wright, going out here telling all the tea, why would you put yourself in that type of danger if you talk about how dangerous these people are? Because is it really real or is it not? Is it not? That to me just doesn't make any sense. Like before, when you doing all the underground couch conversations, all right, girl, whatever. But like now you go on a internationally syndicated television show
Mainstream.
to talk about the drama and putting out more information on Piers Morgan. Like, girl, okay, girl, okay, girl. That's really all I got. Have y'all
Sure,
seen that?
you got it. All
If
right,
you
let's skip.
have, what are your thoughts? Because wow, like she's been entertaining. I'm not gonna hold you, but like that to me just seems like willfully and purposefully putting my life in danger. I don't know that I would do that, even if I was telling the truth.
Simple.
Hmm.
Let's skip down. Let's do Issa Rae. Her talking about Amanda C. So Issa Rae was on a panel, or she was being interviewed, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody asked her, the interviewer asked her, is there someone that you would not work with again? And Issa Rae was essentially like somebody who dragged me and dragged my name through a podcast, which was obviously a direct hit at Amanda Seales. And
Mm.
basically, Issa was like, girl, y'all was grown. I gave y'all the space to have the conversation. Y'all didn't get it together. And so, what more did you want me to do?
I'm
And
sorry.
I
I
do
love
agree.
Issa, but I do not agree with that because if you are the ball, you are the head of this
Oh,
ship.
interesting.
This is your business. You're the head of the ship and this is your business, and you have your employee coming to you talking about your other employee doing things that are infringing upon their well-being in the workplace as well as their career moves. You got to do something at that point because that looks bad upon you and your work environment. Understandably, you don't want to work with this person ever again, fine. But at the time that all this shit was happening, it would have been too easy to be like, okay, publicist, you are here in the capacity to work under me and do stuff for me. There's no reason for you to interact with anyone else on my cast. And that be that. Like, separate the environments. So that way they're never having to see one
Okay. I
another.
can, okay.
Because it's almost
Actually,
like
now that you,
it just sounds like it was harassment from the publicist to Amanda Seales. And if that's what is happening, because I mean, if you got somebody, think about it. If you worked in an environment where there's someone there that does not like you, and that someone seems to be clicked up with everybody else, you're now making a hostile work environment intentionally or not. We don't know that part,
no,
but from what it sounds like based on Amanda's experience, it sounds like a unsafe work environment, like a psychologically unsafe.
yeah. No, now that you
That's
put it
my
that way, that she should have bifurcated the workplaces, I actually agree
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, just from
My
that
my initial
standpoint.
reaction, my initial reaction is like she facilitated the conversation, but if the publicist was not actually working on Insecure, why was she on the set? If one of her cast, you know what I'm saying? Like one of her cast was not comfortable with the publicist, she shouldn't have been on the set.
That's the
Um,
point. That's the point.
Literally,
That's the
you could
only
just be in
thing.
the office. It
Yeah.
is no need for you to be here. You know what I mean? If
No
that
need at
was
all.
causing an issue, there was no need for her to be there. And to that extent, I do agree with you. As far as
Just
with
because of the
the
business.
yeah, as far as with the like party and all that other stuff, I agree with Issa. It's like, what do you want me to do?
Like
Like
it's not my
that was
party. I
not
can't do nothing about it. And
That was not on
to
the
the
set.
yeah, and to the end of like, even though the other person that was throwing the party was Amanda's friend, he had invited her. If that person didn't then go and vouch for you in that moment and just decided to like bypass all the bullshit because he was like, oh, it's a whole lot happening, then
Mm-hmm.
be mad about that with
You mad about
them.
that? Yeah.
Like you can't, because that's not Issa's fault. It's not Issa's party. Like, so be it. But the publicist, from what I could gather from other people in the business, she does not sound like a pleasant person. And this is
Yeah.
people that have spoken about her in other capacities.
Okay.
So
So yeah.
yeah.
Maybe there was
Mm-mm.
space for like having two separate workplaces, and maybe that's the lesson here. Is like, girl, you don't have to combine everything together.
Yeah. And
Your
this
publicist
is
can be your publicist, Issa's publicist for Insecure without having to be on the Insecure set. Like, you don't need to be on the
period.
set to understand that you have to do publicity for Insecure. Like,
Right. And then not
most
only that,
publicists
but if
wouldn't
you're
be.
having a Grammy or whatever, not Grammy party, whatever the party was, and it's a part of like Insecure in any sort of way, everybody who's a part of that show should be allowed to be at the party.
Well, I don't think it was though. I think it was supposed to be like black people in Hollywood or something. Like I don't think it had any insecure attachments to it to the point that
Okay.
Issa said she wasn't even there. She was in New York.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Because
I
I'm
don't
like,
think
if
it
that was a
was.
part of it, then yeah, she
No, no,
should have
no.
been able to be there. But
I don't
neither
think it
here
was.
nor there.
All right, let's skip down to DDG and Halle. We'll finish up with OMGirls. DDG and Halle
Child,
split.
I cannot believe it. And I'm not gonna hold you. When I saw that news on Instagram last night, when I saw that on Instagram, I was just like, well, ain't this about a bitch? This is literally the stuff that the OG Hollywood starlets say happens, is that you get with a nigga, he gets you to fall madly deeply in love with this person, y'all create a life, and then he be like, all right, well, I'm out.
And it's like,
Not
listen,
that that's what
Halle's gonna.
happened, but that's just
No, no,
it
no, I
just
understand.
it's giving like this is the shit that the OGs of
Resolve.
Hollywood would
Hmm.
tell you. This is why you don't get that deeply involved to the point where you have said child, because now you have a child out of this relationship and don't have no, yeah, mm-mm.
Listen,
It is what it is.
Hallie's gonna be fine. Baby
And
Halo's
is.
gonna be fine. He's adorable. He looks exactly like Hallie. He's gonna be fine. Everybody's gonna be fine. Um, everybody's gonna be fine. I don't know. I just
Mm-hmm.
have such a different, maybe it's because of my upbringing and having been raised in a single parent home. It's just like everybody's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. They got money and everybody's
Yeah,
gonna be fine.
it'll
So
be
it's like,
absolutely fine. But I just was looking at it
so
like, well,
it's like
goddamn,
she
ain't
had
this
a
the,
baby young.
yeah, ain't this the damn
They
thing that
weren't gonna
the
stay
people were
together. They're in
saying?
their early 20s. We're like, remember when you were like, come on, in your early 20s, like you don't stay with nobody from your early 20s. Few of us stay with anybody from their early 20s because you grow and evolve and turn into something different. If they didn't stay together, if they didn't break up now, they would have broke up in 5 years. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Everybody saw this coming. Baby Halo's gonna be fine. Hallie's gonna be fine.
The only thing
Everybody's
that
gonna
I'll say
be fine. Moving
is this is why we don't make children in our 20s. Because you don't know that you're gonna still be with this person.
And see, I disagree with that. I'm like, listen, if you have confidence that this person is going to be a good parent and you want to have a kid in your 20s and you have the means to take care of the kid in your 20s, and it seemed like she, from other clips that I'd seen, like, seemed like she wanted to have kids pretty young. And it's like, I mean, if that's what you want to do, then do what you want to do. Like, as long as the person is going to be a decent co-parent and you know, you
But
can move on. Like y'all don't have to be partners and have to be together forever. I
right.
don't believe
I'm
that's
speaking
my
not
thing. I don't
necessarily
believe
about her situation and
that's
saying
what I'm
this
saying.
is why
I'm
you don't
like,
have kids when you're young. I'm talking about the average girl. Don't do that
agreed.
shit.
But I'm saying like
If she
I
got
don't
coin, we don't.
sure. But I guess I just don't believe that like in order to be have a successful relationship or have a relationship that is deemed to be like productive, that there has to be like some long term involved. As long as
Yeah.
everybody agrees on what it is, and like who cares, who cares whatever else is attached. Hopefully he doesn't turn into a thorn in her side, and even if she does, she'll still be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
last last point up here. The OMG girls, received a $71 million
That's for life.
infringement ruling for the LOL Surprise OMG dolls.
Hmm.
I was like, wow, that
That's what's
is
up.
crazy. So, side note, we've referenced this podcast before. One of the ladies, Ceci, over at the Bravo docket, actually worked on case
Hmm.
number 2. This is case number 3 for the OMG girls, but Ceci actually worked on case number 2. So she had some background knowledge about what happened on that case. And basically part of what she was saying, I'll leave the link below so you can go listen to that episode of the Bravo docket. But basically what she was saying was that the people on the other side, the toy maker, they were very, it was giving racist. It was giving racist. They went and filed in Orange County where they could not find black jurors. They there were no black
Oh.
jurors. Um, they filed in that county purposefully. I'm putting words in. I'm giving a summary. Go listen to Bravo Docket. I'll leave it below. Um, but basically, like the toy maker was essentially like nobody knew who you were. Who cares? You know what I mean? Very, very that. Very like, why would we bother to infringe on you?
Well,
And
bitch, now you got to pay. How about that?
and I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw those dolls and I saw that it was OMG, I was like, I hope they have permission. And I wasn't even
Hmm.
like a OMG girls. I'm too old for that. So I
No,
wasn't a
my niece
OMG
loved
girls
them damn
girly,
dolls. I had all the stuff for that little girl.
but yes, but I remember the Tiny and Toya because Bravo Docket again, shout out to them. Um, they were talking about how this was conceived on Tiny and Toya, and I was watching the show at the time, so I
Hmm.
remember seeing all the things,
The
and I was
OMG
just like,
girls.
huh. I remember seeing
Hmm.
the OMG dolls and was like, I hope they cleared that because that is giving infringement. So now that I have seen the case and the case has come to fruition and come to judgment,
That's what they ass
apparently they
get.
were just nasty. So nasty and so rude all
Shout out to
throughout the
Nene
case.
Leaks.
Shout out to Nene. Um, and so yeah, that settled in, well, not settled, they had a judgment in the favor of Tiny as well as the OMG girls. I think Pretty
Now,
Hustle represented them, Tiny's group, Tiny's
my
label.
my question is around what the hell does T.I. have to do? What is his involvement? Did he invest in the OMG girls or something? Because all of the headlines were saying that like T.I. and Tiny reached to $70 million, settlement. And I'm like, well, what the fuck he had to do with it? I don't remember him being a part
What
of
I think happened, and I'm not entirely, yeah, sorry. What I think happened, and I'm not entirely sure, is I think, okay, Grand Hustle is like the parent company.
hmm
Tiny's company is called Pretty Hustle, which is under Grand Hustle. And then underneath that is the OMG girls. The OMG girls, I think, were signed to Pretty Hustle. So it's by proxy. And it seemed like when they filed the case, because this is what people do when they file lawsuits. They file on everybody. Everybody get included. And so
hmm Like the Diddy
actually
shit.
the
Huh.
toy maker, right. Exactly, which is why people got to stop doing crime under their record labels and under their LLCs because y'all going to jail for RICO. Um,
Just all
all
you
that
needed was
being
the face.
said, all that being said, the toy maker actually filed the initial lawsuit requesting a declaratory judgment. So requesting for the court to say, like, no, we're throwing this out because this isn't valid. So they filed against everybody. So then everybody had to then defend. But
Yeah,
I think that's probably why is that the OMG girls were signed to Pretty Hustle and Pretty Hustle was signed to Grand Hustle. That's what I think.
makes sense. Makes sense when you break it down
Mhm.
like that. I just didn't realize that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so since we spoke about the Diddy of it all, we're not gonna cover it in
Do
this
you want to do
here.
this? Wait, do you want to do this now? Do you want to do this separate?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna make mention in passing. That's all.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. Continue.
Speaking of the Diddy of it all, like it's so many things that are coming down the pike. every day at this point. We're gonna make
Thanks.
the Diddy debacle its own series, okay?
We're gonna have
So I
to.
think I'm probably gonna have to go back and put like Diddy 1, Diddy 2, Diddy 3, Diddy 4. You know what I mean? Because like, what the
We're
hell
gonna
is
have to.
happening? Every day it's something new. So y'all be on the lookout for that. We're gonna compile some more Diddy lawsuit things. One sidebar that I'll mention here is that the girls over on the TikTok streets are alleging that the baby oil that was found, all the thousands of bottles of baby oil, was not actually baby oil. It was some sort of hallucinogenics in the baby oil. And then comedian Cat Williams, who started the year off with a fucking bang, said on one of his recent shows that the like you get rubbed down in the damn baby oil, and next thing you know, you can't feel your damn body parts. And so he basically is confirming said rumors. So yeah, we'll talk about this in the next one. You make sure that you
Hmm.
like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see
Hmm.
y'all later. Oh, did you want to say something before we wrap up?
No, but that was plenty.
That's crazy, right? But anyway, we'll see y'all in the next one. Drop down in the comments and let us know if there's any rumors that you have heard and want us to cover. Send us the source. And of course, you can send it down to the emails linked in the box. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Me.